So welcome everyone. I'm going to just get started and introduce myself because I see there are quite a few new faces here that I may be unfamiliar to. My name is Lindsay Journo and I have been with LePort since 2003, and I've worked for quite a few years developing our elementary and junior high program, and more recently have been working with our Montessori division as well. Tonight is a really comes at a very exciting time for us with the launch of our new Spectrum campus that's going to be opening in September. And it's particularly exciting for a number of reasons. One of the reasons is just it's going to be a really beautiful campus with really big, large and inviting classrooms, a wonderful outdoor space for the children to run around and play with some really interesting outdoor equipment for them to use, and a convenient location for the parents to travel to. So we're really thrilled because we think it's going to be a really beautiful and spacious location for the children to learn in. And the opening of the Spectrum campus is exciting for us as well because it's the first time that our full LePort program is going to be under one roof. So beginning with our brand new infant program, beginning at 3 months and going all the way up through 8th grade. So we're very excited for the opening of this campus, as I'm sure some of you are as well. And we really do appreciate you coming out and making the time to be here tonight, because we understand that the decision as to where to have your children attend school for elementary school is such a critical decision. Many of you have been to our parent education evenings and heard us talk about the importance of the primary program and the foundation that is laid, that critical foundation that is laid in our primary years from 3 to 6. But I think that in terms of foundation building, that is equally important in our elementary. That in the elementary, I can say, speaking as an educator who's worked teaching in elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools for the past 15 years, that the K to 8 time period is so critical for the students to develop, first of all, the academic skills, the reading, the writing, the math, that is going to enable them to keep on learning through high school and college and beyond. But as important as those key academic skills that we're building through the 8th grade program is also your children's attitude toward learning. Are they feeling like they are competent learners, that they love learning, they enjoy coming to school, and they have that positive attitude toward their education? That if they have that love of learning combined with those key basic skills, when they exit 8th grade, what we have seen is they can go anywhere in high school and college and beyond and be successful. So it really is such a critical decision where to send your child for these elementary years, and we appreciate you coming here tonight to help to start to get informed about that decision. So what can we hope to accomplish here in the next hour in terms of helping you become informed about this decision and learning a little bit about our elementary and junior high program? Well, what we've decided to do tonight is to have a little bit of fun and treat this really as your first taste of an introduction to elementary. So we have a number of our key educators and teachers up here, and what each of them is going to do is to try to give you a little taste of what the elementary program is like here at LePort. So to give you just a little feel for, first of all, for the passion and enthusiasm that our teachers have for what they are teaching, but also to give you a little sense of what's it like if you have a second grader at home and your second grader is coming and going to be present in our lower elementary Montessori classroom. What's that experience going to be like for your child? Or if you have a 6th grader, what's it going to be like to sit in one of our history classes? Or a 7th grader to sit in one of our math classes? What is that experience like, and how is it perhaps different from some of the educational experiences you may have had? So our goal tonight is just to have a little bit of fun, to introduce some of our staff members, to give you a little bit of a feel for them and be able to put a face to a name and have a bit of a taste of what this classroom experience is going to be like for your children. And I hope that you're able to see from watching these various presentations some of the themes that are really central to a LePort elementary education. So some things that may stand out to you to begin with, one that I can think of top of mind is motivation. It is so important to us here at LePort, again, starting right with the pre-primary and primary classrooms, that the children want to learn. So beginning with those really enticing materials that the children get their hands on in our preschool, going up through the lower elementary materials, and then the way that the information is presented in the upper elementary and junior high, we believe that it is critical that your children want to learn, that they are self-motivated, because we all know they have their own self-control, right? They have their own decision-making if they want to turn their minds on or off, if they want to pay attention or not pay attention. So we really believe that that motivation has to come from within. And so I hope that part of what you're seeing tonight is the way that we attempt to motivate your children when they're in our classrooms. And part of that motivation that might come out tonight a little bit as well is that part of that motivation comes from how we carefully sequence and order our curriculum. That here at LePort, again, starting at the primary, but as well the lower elementary and upper elementary, junior high, your children's knowledge is going to be built really from the ground up, step by step, in a very careful sequence. And the reason for this is so that the knowledge and the understanding is real to them, that they are learning real facts and skills that pertain to the world, that they're not just memorizing definitions they don't understand in science class and then forgetting them, or learning steps in math class that they know how to do the steps, but they don't really know what these steps pertain to in the real world. What we're after here, our motto here at LePort is knowledge for life. So we're looking to instill in your children a real understanding of the world, built from the ground up, step by step, that again they can carry with them to future studies and future successes. There's so much that obviously we can't cover tonight. I know that some of you might have questions about some of our other themes that are central to our approach. For instance, if you have children in primary, you might wonder, well, how do we individualize for each student once he or she gets into lower and then upper elementary? I'm sure there are a lot of other questions. So we're going to try really hard to save a good chunk of time for the Q&A, and I really encourage you to speak up during the question period at the end and ask any questions that you may have. And again, we're seeing tonight just as your first taste of the elementary, so I would really encourage you after tonight to take the next step, which would be to call over to our Mission Viejo campus and definitely to book a tour and to be able to really sit down with our head of school there, with our senior teaching staff, our curriculum experts, and be able to get a really in-depth understanding of the curriculum and the approach in the elementary and junior high, which obviously we won't be able to offer in-depth in an hour here tonight. Other steps I would encourage you to take it definitely if you have not been on the website. Again, if you're looking for a really detailed content in terms of LePort's elementary curriculum and LePort's unique approach, that is a great place to look. We've recently put up a whole slew of student work samples, which I think that you as parents might find really interesting to see what kind of work is going on, starting with the primary, but through first, second, third grade, all the way up through 8th grade in science and in language and in math. So again, the website is a great font of information for you to find out more about the program. And then also we have, if you haven't had a look at the brochure, there are some brochures that can be helpful as well outside. Before I give up the floor, because everyone knows I love to talk, I just want to give, because I know there may be some parents here from the outside community that really have no idea how the elementary is structured at all. So I want to just give a really, really brief overview to make sure that everyone just at least has a sense of the basic structure in the elementary. So if you have a child who's entering first grade, your child would be entering our lower elementary classroom. So this is a Montessori classroom with mixed age groupings, which means there would be first, second, and third graders in the same class. So starting really between 6 and 9-year-old. And they're going to be in the same class of about 24 students. This lower elementary class would be led by a Montessori-trained head teacher, and there would also be a junior teacher in the classroom. So you're looking at about a 12-to-1 ratio in that room. The children in the lower elementary classroom, again, are going to be using the scientifically developed, hands-on Montessori materials, and so they're able to work at their own pace with these materials and would be getting their lessons either individually or in small groups. Once your child hits 4th grade, they are going to transition to more of a traditional classroom setting. Starting in 4th grade, we dedicate one class to each grade level. So there would be a 4th grade, a 5th grade, a 6th grade, and so on to 8th grade. You're going to find about 16 students in a class, so still having the advantage of a really small group setting. You're looking at class sizes that are running about half the size of a typical public school class at this point. And starting in 4th grade as well, you're going to find that your child has subject specialty teachers. So your child would have a teacher for math, a teacher usually for literature, language arts, and a different teacher for history and for science. And the reason we do that is twofold. First of all, it ensures that your child has a teacher who is truly passionate about the subject that he or she is teaching, and also that the person is an expert in that subject. And we found that's really beneficial once the material gets more sophisticated and complex in the upper elementary and junior high. What you're also going to find running right through the LePort elementary and junior high education is an emphasis not just on academics. We tend to talk a lot about academics because we are a very academically focused school, but it really, the LePort elementary experience is not just focused on academics. We are equally committed to developing your children in terms of their character, in terms of their social and emotional maturity, and in terms of their life skills that are going to help them later on. So in terms of, if you look at social emotional growth, things like leadership and their ability to get along with others and their ability to understand their emotions and deal with their emotions, we are as active outside of the classroom as we are inside of the classroom. So you're going to find, for instance, at recess time, we don't just leave the kids to go play and sort of have 2 staff members standing by the door talking. If you visit us during recess time, which I encourage you to do, you're going to find our elementary and junior high teachers are out there organizing the games, organizing the sports, playing with the children, and using this time to really closely supervise them and work on all of these other skills that are going to help to make them the kind of adults that we want them to be. And this kind of learning in terms of their social and emotional maturity and their character development is going on at recess time, at lunchtime, on field trips, after school, and we take that very, very seriously. In addition to this kind of character development, also working on life skills. I mean, we all know that I can speak to experience because I worked for years at a school for gifted children. And we know that it's not just academic ability that makes you successful in life. There are a whole slew of other skills you have to have. Organizational skills, time management, task completion, responsibility, that are really, if we did not develop that in your children, we would not be doing our job. And so we have all sorts of systems and processes through the elementary years and through the junior high years to develop those kinds of skills as well. Again, so that we're confident your children can graduate from 8th grade, go on high school, college, and achieve the kind of success that we want them to achieve. So if you have any questions about that, again, I encourage you to follow up in the question period.